Hi, my name is Christopher Sakamoto-Marshall. I am the founder of the online and pop-up gallery, The New Other, based in Toronto, but hoping to spread our wings, so to speak, and enter other communities around the country in the near future. I've been working in the gallery, commercial gallery world for about 5.5 years now. And it's been wonderful. I've met so many beautiful people, both in Toronto and around the country. But I found kind of a gap, I guess, between more community and grassroots based organizations in terms of artists and emerging artists, and then the established institutions and commercial gallery spaces. Especially when it came to underrepresented demographics. And I, being a person of mixed heritage myself, I've delved into my own issues with identity and belonging and those types of things, and wanted to really just create a platform where working in conjunction with artists can showcase their work, showcase a variety of stories and subject matter, in the hopes and aim of bringing people together and just kind of creating a dialogue and more of a mutual understanding and appreciation of our fellow citizens. Whether you use the word other or some other perhaps more specific term that is not necessarily a positive one, I think most people have felt left out of a certain situation or group at some point in their lives, no matter what their background. And the aim of The New Other is exactly that. Like you said, reclaiming that word and celebrating our differences, but also at the same time celebrating the things that bring us together and the commonalities that we have, even though we may have different backgrounds, different experiences. There are a lot of shared feelings and perspectives that we can celebrate. First and foremost, funding, like financially, as a lot of people know, being an entrepreneur takes a lot of time and funding, and in an effort to maintain, my independence along with the artists. I don't have any outside financial backers or anything like that, which a lot of traditional gallery spaces, commercial spaces at least, do have, whether it's a familial background or some type of other investment involved in the business itself. So that would be it. And yeah, also, like I mentioned, a time commitment. I'm trying to get this off the ground as much as possible, but I also do have a day job within the arts where I direct another gallery space. So trying to juggle the two sometimes doesn't leave a whole lot of space for other aspects of my life. But it's, at the end of the day, I go to sleep feeling very grateful and optimistic and really excited to see what the future holds. Before I kind of get into that, I want to stress that the platform is not only on, whether it's BIPOC artists or strictly underrepresented artists, but that is more of the focus because, as a lot of us know, traditionally they haven't been given that same platform. So we actually launched this past May for Contact Festival, which if you're not familiar with it, is one of, if not the largest lens-based art festival in the world, and happens every month of May in Toronto. And so we were able to have a group show with 3 artists, and all different backgrounds. One being originally from Zambia, one born and raised in Toronto in the GTA, but of a Sikh background, and another of a Filipino background. And not only were their ethnic and cultural backgrounds diverse, the medium, even though it it is had to be lens-based, it did present itself in a variety of ways. One was, strictly digital photography. One was Polaroid and cyanotype prints, and then the other was photo transfer, so mixed media. So just kind of highlighting the diversity of artists, but also of ways that lens-based art can be presented in a physical form. I know that it's never going to be perfect. The aim is just to try to push the envelope forward, and hopefully other galleries and spaces can do something similar. It is something that's kind of like consciously in the back of my mind when choosing artists and choosing stories and subject matter to put forward. Because it is still fairly new, just within launching a few months ago. I there hasn't been too much conflict up to this point, but going forward, yeah, that's definitely going to be something that is kept in mind on my end. But if the story is important enough and the work is of a level that I think will really resonate with people, then I'm not going to limit X number of artists from this background or that background. I think the advantage of the New Other is being a hybrid gallery and not having a permanent physical location. We're able to have exhibits across the city, across the GTA, across the country if need be. So we're able to, in a way, come to different communities and meet different people where they are. As a lot of us are aware, especially over the past 3-4 years, there has been an increase in just a lack of dialogue, I think, or a lack of patience in at least trying to understand where another person or another group is coming from that differs from your perspectives. And I think because everything is curated for us now, whether it's on social media, the TV that we watch, even our social circle, the people that we spend time with, everything for the most part, in my experience, is leaned towards everything that you already agree with. So every time you come across something that might challenge that view or that perspective, human nature would dictate that you're going to be a little defensive if that's not something that regularly occurs. And because of this, our time and willingness to consume something that maybe will differ and challenge us in ways might not really be there compared to what it has been, in decades past. So instead of, asking people to watch a hour-and-a-half long documentary, read an article, academic article or publication that is a very conscious choice and potentially very time consuming, I think art is a way that you can interact with an individual or a group in a split second. And even if somebody is just looking at a piece of art in passing, they're still connecting with it on some level. And if they stop and look and do a little more research, find more context behind the artwork, even better. But even if they're just connecting with it on a very small level, I think that's the beginning. That's not the end goal, but that is the beginning to starting dialogue between people that, potentially on the surface might have some differences of opinions. With the programming, like I mentioned earlier, having exhibits all around the city, but also having artists from different backgrounds within those exhibits, and then my own professional and social circles are quite diverse in terms of the people that I communicate with and spend time with on a regular basis. So we're always bringing in people from a vast variety of backgrounds in order to expose them to the subject matter, but also in hopes of people from these different backgrounds connecting in the same physical space and starting that dialogue. At this point, it's about just continuing to grow the reach of the gallery and having more and more people, both in the public realm and in the art world, just aware that the gallery exists, which can be a little bit more challenging because there is no permanent brick and mortar. But after continuing to build just the name and the concept, I think the rest will speak for itself. I found that a lot of the artists that I've met, or how I've gotten to this point, has happened, consciously, but also quite organically as well. I'm very anal, just in personality type. I have pages and pages, probably hundreds of pages of notes, both on my phone and on actual paper. But at the end of the day, a lot of the most meaningful progress for it has happened because of the relationships that I've built. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just continuing to build on those relationships, and opportunities will come.